Even though I'm back on Xbox, I feel like, it's one of those things where a lot of people are going to probably downplay the significance of actually being out there and selling the most consoles. Listen, selling the most consoles, or selling a lot of consoles, I should say, is very important. Obviously, you don't have to be number one. Clearly, look, Burger King probably likes where they're at, and McDonald's probably likes where they're at, and McDonald's is far ahead in sales and money in terms of what they do compared to Burger King. But that doesn't mean Burger King should close up shop. It's the same thing with Coke and Pepsi, right? Like, I like Coke, I like Pepsi, but I'm sure Coke does way better than Pepsi, but Pepsi still does incredibly well, so they're not going to close up shop anytime soon. With that being said, it's always funny to see people kind of downplay sales, and I used to downplay sales too back in the day, and now I realize there's really not any reason to do that, as sales of anything is very important in keeping something going. And I think people are probably starting to understand that a little bit. And Phil Spencer recently gave an interview where he maybe let the cat out of the bag. We'll see what happens here, we'll see. But this should be an interesting topic, and you don't want to miss it, trust me. Hey there everyone, I'm Crapgamer, and this of course is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few cool changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me and my silly YouTube channel. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. Thank you guys so much. Now, the other day, Phil Spencer did a very interesting interview where he was talking about the future of Xbox, the past of Xbox, and this was something that I really kind of related to. And in that interview, it mentions that the Xbox One had sold 50 million units, and that Xbox Series X and S had sold combined for 8 million units. I believe that was what the number said. But the thing is, was it Phil Spencer that says that, or was it, somebody else that was saying that, or were they assuming that or basing that off of different situations in terms of maybe they get their information from VG charts or something along those lines? Those of you that know me know that I absolutely 100% do not trust VG charts, and I do not use VG charts. The reason why I don't do that is because they have a long history of not actually being able to go out there and produce any kind of realistic idea about how they get their numbers to begin with. So that's something that I always felt like was a little bit weird. And then in terms of anything else, I just feel like it's a strange situation, because at the end of the day, it really kind of comes down to what gamers want to play. And I think that's probably more important than anything else. But with that being said, where did they get their numbers from that? Is that Phil giving them those numbers? Is those estimates? I think that's something that people probably really wanted to know. Now, if we go by what actually was announced from, I guess this would be the best way to go by how many Xbox One sales there were, and how I was using my kind of, 2 cents in understanding how many were actually selling, which was this. If you go back, AMD in March of 2020 actually go out there and said that they shipped 150 million units between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, 150 million GPUs, right, combined between the two, and so they did that. Now, with that being said, how come Sony was able to go out and announce that they had recently sold 109 million, which would leave 41 million? People kind of downplay this a lot, but there's, I would trust AMD's word to it. And then there were always, like Z Huge and everybody was saying about 8 million for the Xbox Series X and S. Now, with that being said, another bit of information came out, which is casting everything into a different bit of light, which is, according to this, Sony's estimated to have sold twice as many PlayStation 5 consoles as Xbox Series globally. Xbox Series S allegedly outsold Xbox Series X across several key markets. Recent industry data estimates that Sony has sold twice as many PlayStation 5 consoles as Microsoft has sold Xbox Series X and S consoles worldwide. The new data comes from research from Ampere Analysis. According to a new console insight from the firm, Sony has reportedly sold through roughly 12.8 million PlayStation 5 units, disc and digital combined, globally as of September, whereas Microsoft is said to have only sold through 6.7 million units. of its Xbox Series family, which is the Xbox Series X and S combined. During the third quarter of 2021, the research firm estimates that global console sales across Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo reached 9.1 million units, with Nintendo slightly outselling the PlayStation 5, 3.91 million units of the Switch to 3.42 million units of the PlayStation 5. Nintendo Switch has dominated global sell-through in 2021, but quarter 3 sales were closer between Nintendo's family of devices and Sony's PlayStation 5. In particular, Sony made substantial headway in Western markets where supply was improved and where demand was high. Amphere's game research director Piers Harding Rolls writes in his article, "This culminated in PlayStation 5 outselling Switch in Europe by some distance." NPD also reported that in the US, the PlayStation 5 outsold the Switch for the first time in September. However, Nintendo is once again expected to substantially outsell the other consoles in quarter 4, helped by the launch of Switch OLED and seasonal momentum with Nintendo enjoys product availability. Interestingly enough, Hardin Rolls also claims that the data suggests that Microsoft Xbox Series S has outsold the Xbox Series X in several key markets. Actual sales numbers and more details about these key markets weren't provided, however. Now, Microsoft's two-tier product strategy was a bold move at launch of the Series generation, and the lesser-powered Series S has come into its own against a backdrop of component shortages, Xbox Series X supply constraints, according to the article. Quite an interesting article from Ampere Analysis, but with Microsoft not actually sharing their sales data, nobody can really confirm whether these are true or not. It's just an analysis. Now, again, is this true? I guess if you're a PlayStation fan, you might go, oh, well, this is 100% true. I'm choosing to believe this. And, you know, this is the way that, like, console warring kind of goes. If you're somebody who wants these things to be a certain way, then, yeah, you're going to obviously kind of push this narrative that this is 100% accurate and nothing else is accurate. And I think that is probably pretty disingenuous. I don't really know what the numbers are. I do think that the shortages have affected both Sony and Microsoft, which is super unfortunate. But I also feel like Sony and Microsoft have been able to do, get some games out there, get some consoles out there, and obviously the games are going to pick up next year. Unfortunately, folks, if you are looking for a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, you're going to have a hard time into 2023 from the sounds of it. They have already admitted that the chip supply shortage might not even be sorted out by that point, which is incredible when you think about it. I just honestly think I'm blown away by the fact that, we haven't been able to get any of these confirmations or anything like that. I absolutely love console gaming, and I think it's in a really good spot now going into next year with maybe the best lineup from third and first parties that I've ever seen in my life. And that's not a fabrication. Think about it, okay? You have first parties from Microsoft. You've got Starfield, which might be one of the bigger games that's coming out. I mean, this is a new IP from Bethesda. People are going to go crazy over this. With PlayStation, you've got a brand new Gran Turismo. You've got Horizon Forbidden West. You've got God of War Ragnarok. The last God of War won Game of the Year, obviously. You have Forspoken, a new AAA IP. You've got the Suicide Squad game. You've got the Harry Potter game. You've got a Gollum Lord of the Rings game. You've got Gotham Knights. You've got Modern Warfare coming back. You've got so many different games coming out next year. It's going to be insane. And I just think that people are going to be super excited by this. But does this matter? Does the lack of sales matter, or does it not matter? Listen, it's probably, maybe it's close to being the accurate number. Maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, I think that, Xbox is back in a way because they're competing, and I think it'd be ignorant to not take them seriously, especially given that they're kind of in this space right now where people are absolutely giving them a pass and giving them a lot of kind of they've won a lot of gamers over recently, so I don't think we should discount that at all. And I think that obviously at the end of the day, it behooves us all as gaming fans to want both these consoles, both these platforms, to do extremely well and to be able to sell extremely well. I think that's something that that we should all kind of look to as the future. You know what I mean? Like, Xbox seems like it's doing well, PlayStation's doing well. Obviously, this is something that should be amazing and good news for everybody. So let's not turn it into something super negative, shall we? I know that's weird coming from me. Thank you guys so much for watching one of my videos. I'm going to link this. Where do you think Xbox stands in comparison to PlayStation in terms of sales? Do you think it even matters? I still think no matter what, it's always going to matter to an extent. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.